Hello. Sorry, I ended up in a menu and I was like, I don't I don't know what's happening in this menu. What is up? Hello? Oh, I haven't had my coffee. How's it going? Damn. We're on like budget coffee right now because I don't have good coffee in the house. Very, very unfortunate. It's like fine. Random menu sounds in the intro is the best intro, of course. That's good. That's good because sometimes you just randomly press the stuff. The intro. Oh right, I forgot what we're gonna be doing, or rather, I just remembered is that I think that's more appropriate. Hello, welcome everybody. We're playing Fire Emblem. Imagine being able to taste the difference between budget and high quality anything. Yeah, I know, right? It's like imagine if one of your senses just didn't work. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't imagine. Like if I didn't have, what would it be? Like sight, hearing, taste, touch. There's one more, right? What am I missing? Smell? Smell? Yeah, if I lost, I've said this. Like, I think since I was like very young. I've had this belief for a long time. If I lost any of my senses, I would be like very disappointed. I would genuinely love if my sense of taste just didn't work. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what your relationship between your sense of taste is, but based on everything you've told me, Poi, it sounds like it's negative. So, you know, that's too bad, really. But yes, I can in fact taste the difference between budget coffee. There's like diner coffee, and then there's like coffee that is branded to be high quality, but it's not. Like it's just kind of all right, you know? Like it's fine. And then there's actual like bean coffee. What about the overwhelming sense of shame whenever I remember my past self? That's not a sense, unfortunately. But, depending on what kind of person you are, any of the senses that you have, like, for example, if you see something, right? Like, if you see someone being cringe, and then you remember something that you did that was cringe, you could say that seeing the thing triggered your sense of shame. Right? And for some people that happens with like sounds. You know, sometimes for people that happens with like smells. You know? So it's like whenever any of those sensory inputs happen and then you're like something happens in your brain, it's like, okay, well, I mean, you know, that just be what it do. That's just how that works. So okay. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh, bean coffee. So it's really interesting because there's there's so many, I was gonna say interesting things about coffee, but I don't know. Whenever I taste good coffee, I'm like, damn, that's so good. Like, it's actually so good, dude. Like, I don't know. There was a coffee I had recently that was very, like, juicy. So, I don't specifically know. Like, I have very bad descriptors for these things, and that's what I don't really like. It kind of irritates me. Like, I don't have a very good lexicon to describe what I taste. But something that's juicy is usually like the mouthfeel is not very thick. Like it feels like you're drinking juice. Now, the only way that I can describe this is that comparatively, there are, like, coffees. I think the term is body. Like, the body is a lot thicker. And surprisingly, this is the one case where I think the body being thick is not is not good. Not that it's not good, but comparatively, there's ones that like kind of stay on your mouth more. Which I think is like body and mouthfeel. And then something that's juicy is just like it literally feels, it's weird. You're like drinking water, but it tastes like good coffee. And usually those coffees also, this is my experience, is usually those coffees have like an orangey or citrusy flavor. Like their acidity is high, which is cool. Unfortunately, the only thing I taste in this coffee is the cream and sugar that I put in it. Also, no, I did not cream in my coffee. I put cream in the coffee. That's like a different thing. Yep, definitely tastes like cream and sugar to me. Okay. So, oh, maybe I should do this. Reduce the lag. It's a lot better. Was it a light roast coffee? Those tend to have more fruit-based tones. Yeah, I personally like light roast coffees. I don't think I have ever had a good dark roast coffee. Like, it's just tastes like ass to me. So people are like, I don't know if I've ever met someone who's like, that's not true either. The thing that I hate about dark roast coffee is that there are like people who go like, nah man, like, dude, you gotta have the dark roast because it's stronger. The coffee flavor is more intense. And it's like, bro, like, it's hard to have a wrong opinion, but you literally just had a wrong opinion. So it's entirely possible that what they are trying to describe is something that they like. Like, there is something about it being dark roast that they appreciate about the flavor. This is fair. However, my experience with dark coffees, like dark roast coffees, is that like they just taste burnt. Like, I don't know. That's kind of what I get. Like, usually they're supposed to have more like chocolatey, like earthy stuff. And I can't taste it. It just tastes like burnt to me. So, I don't like dark roasts. Medium roasts are okay. I feel like medium roasts are what dark roasts are supposed to taste like. As far as, oh, I can taste like the chocolate. There was actually one coffee, it was a medium roast, where like I didn't understand the concept of retronasal. And with that coffee, for actually the first time, like I breathed in after I took a sip of the coffee and literally just tasted like full chocolate. And I was like, whoa, what the hell is that? That's crazy, dude. So that was really cool. There, I'm pretty sure a medium roast was the first time I understood retronasal, and it was chocolatey. And that's cool because I don't normally taste chocolatey things when I am actually drinking the coffee. I find that very difficult. But I am personally a fan of light roasts. Light roasts. Interestingly, this bag is supposed to be a light roast, I think. I think on the packaging it says light roast, yeah. But it doesn't taste like anything. It could also be because it's old. It just flavor goes away. But It's okay. The reason I'm drinking it is due to my caffeine dependency. Not much to be done about that. Okay, so since last time I did some battles. Man, my favorite is just NPCs walking into other NPCs. It's like, dude, who thought this was a good idea? Like, why did you put NPC patrol paths that just, like, walk into other people? Are you gonna walk around? You gonna no? Alright, cool. Nope, just gonna keep walking in place there. Mm-hmm. Alright, let's see if they move. Cause like I don't know. Maybe they'll move, maybe they won't. Who knows? I was really hoping they would stop again or something, because that'd be super funny, but... Oh, sorry, there's a bit of a traffic jam here, ma'am. We're gonna need you to back up. Yeah, okay, yeah. Wow, they actually listened to me. That's crazy. Perfectly crafted with no bugs whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, this... She's doing her best reverse moonwalk. Yeah, this is... I don't know. It's one of those things that it's so funny to me. I'd assume the patrol path is the same all months, and they just didn't think of them placing the NPCs month by month. Yeah, exactly. So this is one of those things where, like, oh, see, there we go. They walked away. So this is the thing, is that they clearly had something for this. Like, she's walking away now. She's not continuing to walk into these people. Also, one of the clips I showed, right, was the guy walks into the people, and then he, like, goes away, and then he walks around. So, like, there is a method for them to, like, unstuck themselves, right? So they clearly know. And, you know, that helps because then you don't, again, need to change the patrol paths every month and stuff. You just assume that this, like, unstuck method is gonna work. So I'm not claiming, like, oh, wow, the quality of this game is so bad because look at it. It's just that, like, I understand that whenever you make any kind of rule set for anything in a game, that potentially you see that rule set break, and that it's just really funny. Like, I don't even consider it a bug. It's just like, yeah, I mean, it's working as intended. Like, it's just funny to look at. Yeah, exactly. Right. It's not a big deal. Okay, so the thing that I was going to talk about was okay, so I have I can show it there. I have Bowfair now. I actually tried out I tried Vantage Crit. So I put on, so I don't know if I'm gonna change off of Vantage. I probably will, because I don't remember, I just don't remember what was here before this. But I tried Vantage and Defiant Crit. And I was just kind of tilted because I'm like, yo, Defiant Crit seems so busted. But I don't know how to enable it. Like, I don't know how to put myself below 25% HP. But it seems so strong. Now, you can tell me, I'm probably not going to use it. But there's no, like, way to trigger Defiant, like, Crit. Is there, like, the Defiant passives? Is there a way that people, like, cheese that? A Defense Battalion is useful to set yourself to 1 HP. Oh, does it? Does the Defense Battalion always trigger? Wait, Defense Battalion... Always miracles on follow-up attacks. Yeah, adjutant, not battalion. Yeah. I was confused for a second. But yeah, I knew what you were talking about. I just didn't, it didn't fully, like, my brain didn't sink in. I wanted to check what the adjutant ability was, but I don't think there's anywhere that you can check it. But yeah, so it always miracles on follow-up attacks. So that's kind of cool. Could try that. That sounds kind of cool. But yeah, Vantage with like the Define thing just seems kind of broken. It's not broken. I mean, obviously, like, you can see the hoops that we're going through to activate the ability. It just, like, seems very, very strong, and then, like, Byleth would just sit in the middle of the map and Vantage crit counter people. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. Dimitri is already doing that. I don't think we need to have two blenders doing the exact same thing. It's like, just set up two blenders in the middle of the map and they both just dodge tank through everything and crit retaliate. It's very funny. Right, sorry, I didn't say welcome to all of you, but welcome Cavalier Poi, Eli. Welcome, welcome. It's like having a dragon flying in reverse in Skyrim. It might break the immersion, but not the actual game itself, and plus it's funny to see it happen. Yeah, exactly. I think... like, people talk about, like, immersion and verisimilitude, and I think the interesting thing is that, like, for me, it's heavily reliant on the sense of, like, suspension of disbelief. So it's like, you can always find a reason to not believe, like, you know, to not believe the reality that the game is presenting in front of you. Like, for example, there's no shadows where those horses are. Now that I run towards it, the shadows appear. Like, that just feels like that's not how shadows work. That's just wrong. You know what I mean? So, like, you could literally find anything. Like, you could look to, oh, wow, this pole is clipping through the staircase. Like, you know, oh, like, half of the pixels on this character didn't render until I, like, fully turned towards them. Like, oh, I can't run back here. It's like, you could literally, you know, I actually wonder if I wanted, like, take a game and then do that. I don't know what game I could do that would do that. Like, where that'd be a funny stream, but it's, like, literally just taking, like, half a step in any direction and then finding something to, like, comment on how it breaks the verisimilitude of the game. And just, like, nitpick for actually 2 hours. Because the reality is that that's, like, basically every game. So, you're not cool for pointing it out. You know? Yeah, like a Cinema Sins type stream. Exactly. And, like, I'm not... For full disclosure, like, I'm not huge on that. As you can see by my opinion on this thing in general, I am not a Cinema Sins type of person. Right? People do that with Paper Mario? Really? That seems like a weird one to do that for. Because Paper Mario is not... Like, Paper Mario seems very detached from reality. But yeah, so... My point is, the thing that I was trying to get at was just that, like, your skill of suspension of disbelief, right, is, like, that's something you do. Like, because you can always afford to not do it. And when you don't do it, you're like, wow, this is dumb. Like, I can't believe this is what the thing is. Like, boop, 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 you know? But if you just, like, have a little bit of suspension of disbelief, it's like, it's fine. It's not a big deal. It's like, okay, well, that's kind of goofy, but oh well. Whatever. You could picture in your head that, like, the NPCs are actually trying to talk to each other. So that's, like, why they're walking into each other. Or it's just like, yeah, I mean, you know, they're in an argument. So they're trying to walk through and literally can't because these two people are stopping them. Like, any kind of reasonable way to discard that information from your head and then move on is, like, suspension of disbelief. It's like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, sometimes you just, like, can't see shadows very clearly when you're too far from something. Like, it's just hard to see it, so... You know. Okay, Sorry, let me actually read the rest of this stuff. So, it also halves damage, so it's the overall strongest adjutant type, even when you're not using it for 1 HP strats. There is... Oh, it's called Miracle, but its activation is based on your luck stats, so it's unreliable. The miracle effect you can receive from Gambits is better because it always procs regardless. Wait, you can get a miracle effect from Gambits? Oh, right, because Sacred Blessing doesn't... Oh, you know what? That makes so much sense. Because Sacred Blessing doesn't,
That's right.
doesn't restore you back to full HP. That was an engage thing. Like, when you gave people Blessing and Engage, it would put them back to full HP. So... Vantage plus Defiant Crit is essentially Vantage plus Wrath, so it's considered one of the most OP strategies in the game. Yeah, it just seems like... It's like, well, that just seems very good. Funny ragdolls are also immersion breaking. Oh, dude, I love funny ragdolls. I was actually playing Helldivers the other day, and one of my favorite was I killed a charger, and then the charger just like spun like a Beyblade into the air. It was so funny. It just spun, dude. It was spinning. Like, you could probably play Freebird over it. So, yeah. Oh, trust me, they've broken that game so many times. It's in so many unique ways. It all has to do with the way Paper Mario was made, and it's fascinating seeing those guys manipulate its fundamentals. Oh, no, so, like, I wasn't talking about, like, speedrunning glitches, right? Like, that's different, you know? Because the context of finding a speedrunning glitch is that you are trying to, like, go faster in the game, right? Which is fine. Like, it's interesting to be able to look at a rule set, which again is like how the game is made, and then break it. Like, that's something people want to do. I don't care as much to do that, but hey, I mean, whatever makes you happy. Like, it's not... I don't think... You know, I don't think there's a right or wrong way to interact with a game until you start having a wrong opinion, in which case I will tell you that there's a wrong way to interact with a game. You know, that's just how it is. I don't make the rules. Yeah, so the context of finding speedrunning glitches is whatever. Like, it's interesting and kind of cool to see, like, where the limits of coding breaks and stuff like that. It's fine. But what I'm saying is people who go out of their way to, like, nitpick a detail about how the game is built and then, like, assume there's some kind of cool guy for saying, like, yeah, it's really dumb how, like, this texture is clipping into this other texture. Like, don't they know that when you build, like a, what are these called? It's not a palisade. I don't know what these are called. Don't you know when you build these, you have to put, like, supports at the bottom, and then, like, it needs to go slightly into the brick so that the wood doesn't fall over? Also, you know what's really funny about this? Okay, well, I think we can see this because we're on, like, 60 FPS. You know what's really funny about that? Because, like, this has literally happened to me, and I'm assuming this is what's happening, is that if you look at the wood by where the 10 is, you can see that the texture is flickering. And I think that might be because they put two... They might have put two things there. They might have put, like, two... I'm wondering if they put two, like, pieces of wood there. Which is why the texture is flickering. Because none of the other textures are flickering. Scaffolding, yeah. Yeah, also this wood block is not... whatever. Okay, it's not just speedrunning glitches, though. There's other exploits and such that you can do. For example, some dude, can't remember his name, managed to make an unwinnable game state in Paper Mario. I see. I mean, I don't... What is the context of that? Like... Sure, so... Is that, like... Again, I feel like the context is very specific, and I can't... I just don't know. I'm just saying I don't know. Like, what the purpose of them doing this thing is. Because, again, if you're doing it intentionally and you're just kind of doing it for fun, like, that's okay. But I feel like when your motivation is like, I want to undermine this game by pointing out that there is, like, an immersion break or some kind of verisimilitude break, Like, I feel like you're not doing yourself any favors. Because we literally have a mechanism called suspension of disbelief. And if you are choosing not to use it because you want to, like, undermine the game, like, you're just being a shitter. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. We literally have suspension of disbelief. Like, I don't... it's like literally the reason why we can enjoy fictional media. So, like, I don't know why you just wouldn't do that. But again, doing any number of that stuff intentionally, or even, I guess, if it happens accidentally, like, you can still be kind of frustrated with it. Like, I would see why you would be frustrated by an unwinnable game state in Paper Mario, but it's just, like, it's yeah, it's, like, fine, right? It has to be, like, negative intention based. Like, that's what I'm kind of pointing to. Unemployment hype. Just got terminated from my job. Good news is getting paid, at least, because they fired me instead of quitting, and boy, did they want me to quit. Yeah, I mean, first of all, it sounds like this is a congratulations moment, which I hope, like, we're on the same page when I say, like, congrats, because, like, it did sound like your job was kind of shit, and, like, the work environment was not, like, they were not kind to you, and, like, it frankly just sounded like shit. So, Professor? You know, congratulations for getting one up on the, you know, on the corp, on the big corpa, by getting them to fire you. So, you know, got them. They gotta pay you out now. And, you know, here's hoping on the next job search, etc. The context is that breaking Paper Mario isn't limited to just speedrun strats and such. That's just a vast oversimplification of what those people in the Paper Mario community do. They dissect the game a lot. Yeah, so, again, like, dissecting the game because they want to is okay. Like, if the purpose is to say we're going to dissect the game and find things out, that's okay. I'm suggesting that if you're doing that because you want to call the game bad, I don't think that is a valid argument. Like, I just don't... I guess maybe because it's like... First of all, there's the suspension of disbelief, where, like, any weird fucking thing could happen in a game and you can literally just write it off and move on. Like, it's not even... You can literally just ignore that thing and then continue playing the game, and then it doesn't matter. Right? And the other thing is that, like, a lot of the ways that these, like, bugs are replicated, right, is that they're incredibly difficult to replicate. Like, you need to do crazy things to replicate the bugs. So, if you say that the heuristics of a successful game are instead that the general populace who interact with the game, like the casual player, succeeds at interacting with it and they have a meaningful experience, then some bug that is, like, almost completely irreplicatable, is that the right? I don't know if that's a word. Like, something that you cannot replicate without going heavily out of your way to do is, like, not part of the standard experience. So has nothing to do with the heuristics of a successful video game. Right? Is this making sense? I can't tell, because, like, it seems like this is something you're very passionate about, and I'm not trying to, like, dissuade you from saying, like, this is a cool thing. Like, I'm saying that is cool and that is totally fair to, like, glitch hunt and stuff. Like, that's cool. That is fine. I just don't like when people use it as, like, a logical fuel for malice. You know what I mean? Because, like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, you know? Okay. Let me just read a little bit more. It's not a flaw for the game to have an unwinnable game state. if getting there is extremely improbable. Yeah, like there are games that could happen in sometimes. I'm trying to think of an example. But I think, like, for example, stuff like Slay the Spire has mechanisms, usually. Like, usually there's a mechanism to send you to a lost state. I feel like when it comes to speedrunning, the type of people that I genuinely enjoy the game, it's less, haha, game's so bad, more like, look at what I know about this game. Yeah, exactly, which is why I'm, like, totally down to speedrunning. Like, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Speedrunning is dope. My favorite Paper Mario 64 thing is the implementation of ACE, which uses Ocarina of Time to set up the code and hot swaps between the two games to have it work. Oh, yeah. There was like I think I remember seeing a showcase of that. I don't know what ACE is, though. But I remember it was like some kind of skip. Okay, for the most part, Paper Mario plays solid enough for a game of its time. You normally wouldn't encounter any bugs, glitches, exploits, unless you're actively looking for a way to break the game. Yeah, exactly, which is totally fine. Like, it's not... Again, like, the heuristics for making, like, a good playable game are different than... That's what I guess that's what I'm trying to say, is that, like, if you basically shifted your expectations, right, and you're like, well, my expectations of this game are that, like, geometry isn't randomly clipping through each other. Which, certainly, in, like, something like this, like, you wouldn't want this wooden plank to clip through this barrel, because, like, it's like a little set piece. It's like a little, you know, there's, like, 3 barrels here, and then a crate, and then, like, this is trying to, like, tell, like, a little story of they're, like, they have something set up here, right? So what would, like, make this worse is if, like, one of these wood planks was clipping through the barrel. So, like, someone cared, and they made it so that it wasn't clipping through the barrel. Despite the fact that this is not a physics object, and they had to place this manually. Right? Like literally. Like, if you look close enough, there's probably a bit of a gap. So that it's not clipping. But from every other camera angle, yeah. Like, I think it's, like, floating a little bit there. You know, someone took their time to do that. And it's like, to make it look pretty. Whereas, if you're like, okay, well, they did it correctly there, but like, but over here, the texture is clipping through. Like, it doesn't look right. Like, why would they do it this way? You know what I mean? So, it just seems like you're going out of your way to ruin your own experience, right? And I don't really vibe with that. It's kind of like looking at a... how would I say it? It's kind of like looking at an art piece and saying, like, one of the lines in the line art is wrong. Which is like, first of all, what does that even mean? Second of all, if there's, like, 10,000 lines in the line art, and then you look at one of them and you're like, well, that's stupid. This entire piece is bad because one line wasn't good. It's like, just like, have your... Like, your brain is capable of discarding that information. I think unless you have, like, literally OCD. Right? Like, most people can discard that information. Okay. Arbitration or arbitrary code execution. Yeah, so it like randomly runs a line of code by doing something in the other game. I think that's what it was, right? I think the only game type this isn't the case is multiplayer games, mostly because glitches and exploits can ruin the experience for other players, especially if it's PvP. Oh yeah, for sure. Like, definitely you want to be on top of, like, the game systems, like the playability of the game in PvP games, for sure. And that's just about keeping the playing field fair, right? Because the expectation on a normal player is that they won't understand or look for glitches in order to, like, have an upper hand. Like, the goal of playing a PvP game is to... Like, this, again, this is the thing, right? Is that it depends on your framing. Like, there are people who play PvP games, and they're like, okay, well, I must win at all costs. So, therefore, I will do anything in order to win. But there's often, like, sportsmanship kind of things right? So, because like, when your goal is just to win, like, you can, there's a lot of opportunity for you to just win, right? So, like, there's a lot of opportunity. But I think what most people feel when they play competitive games is not just, I want to win. They want to win by comparing their skill in the game to another player. Like, they're not concerned and what feels fair, right? So, for example, if you're playing a card game tournament, right, what you could do is you could find reasons to call a judge on someone who is playing poorly, but you are card sharking them. Like, don't do that. There's a general understanding that you don't,
Professor?
like, do that to your opponent to be sportsmanlike. Because you're not comparing whether or not someone can, like, you know, you're not comparing minor game infractions or how many minor game infractions that the other player has so that you can win the game. It's like, no, I want to show you, like, my deck. I want to show you my deck. I want to show you why I'm good at playing my deck and I can outplay your deck in this scenario. Like, in these, like, hands that we draw, I want to say that I could win this game using the rules of the game. Not this, like, I call a judge on you and you get DQ'd because I called a judge on you 3 times. Right? Like, that's the thing. If your goal is to win, there's a lot of things you can do to win. There's plenty of things you can do to win. Even as far as literally cheating. And we all understand that people don't want to cheat to win at a competitive PvP game. Because it's like, no one cares about that. People know that if you break the rules of the game, that you can beat people who are not breaking the rules of the game. Like, that's fucking obvious. Duh. No one cares. No one cares about that. But the problem is people get, like, brainwashed, right? Where they think, like, winning is the only important thing. And when that happens, people cheat. Because they know that, well, one of the ways to win the game is to cheat. So, like, guess they'll just cheat.
Right.
They'll cheat until they get caught. So, which I don't know if I told this story. I know there was a lot of stuff typed in chat. I do want to read all of it for the record, but there was one, I don't know if I talked about this, like, thing that happened at my local game store where I was playing a game of EDH and I was like we played a few games at this table and I was like, I beat this person up with it was like a commander damage focused deck. It was like bad. Like, it was not a good deck. It wasn't like a one red commander, like haste it out and then like infect super pump you to death. It was like, I need to attack you with my big idiot like 4 times and then you'll die. Like, that was the kind of commander damage deck it was. So I'm playing this bad deck and like this guy is clearly winning the game. So I'm like, okay, in order to win this game, I need to attack you for 4 turns until you die. Like, that is just, you have a target because you are winning the game and I will commander damage you to death. Like, that is what I am attempting to do. And it's very obvious because it is going to happen over the next 4 turns. So, like, I think I end up, like, I don't win that game, but I did kill the guy through commander damage. So we go to the next game. I'm playing the same deck. It's bad. Again, like, I made this deck bad so that I could play it with bad players. So I play this deck again, and at the start of the game, this guy just just straight up looks at the top card of his deck when it's not his turn and then puts it in the middle of his deck. Like, he's not even slick about it. He's just like, he literally just looks at the top card of his deck and then moves it to the middle of his deck. And I was like, yo, dude, you scrying? You scrying, bro? Was that a scry land? Because he played a tap land. And this might have been part of, like, the deception he was trying to use, but, like, he played a tap land and then passed. But then after he passed, he, like, scryed, or looked like he was scrying. So I looked at the land, and then I was like, like, it wasn't a scry land. So I was like, oh, are you, like, scrying because that was a scry land? Is that why you're doing that? And the thing is, this was the second time he did it. I forgot to mention that. But, like, he did it one time. I wasn't sure if he did it. So then he looked again. I guess maybe part of the way that he was sort of, like, trying to be slick about it is that they were, he kind of, like, bent the top card of his deck, so he was, like, half scrying and trying to put it in the middle of his deck. But the point is that I was literally like, oh man, like, are you scrying? Right? It's like, you're not allowed to do that unless, like, you have a scry action. Was basically what I told him. And then he like, stammered and, like, couldn't answer the question. Now, unfortunately, that person still plays at that game store, and I just, like, literally don't sit down at tables with him. And, like, luckily, I think he knows because, like, I called him out on it, and he, like, has never approached any of my tables. But, like, because if he did, I would say, like, oh, hey, man, like, I just, like, don't play with people who scry randomly. So, like, you know, I just don't do that, so. So, I don't know. Like, maybe it's worth saying, like, okay, well, I'm going to talk to the greater community at large and then say this person cheats. But it's just, like, literally what the fuck. There was another instance of that happening, but, like, of a different thing. Interestingly, it happened within, like, a couple weeks of each other, but the point is that, like, again, this to me is, this person wants to win. Like, there was a reason they wanted to win because they felt spiteful about... by the way, hi Pika. Yeah, I'm doing cardio around the monastery and yapping, but they had a reason to want to win because they felt salty that they died to this shitty commander damage deck that it literally attacked them as slow as possible for like 4 turns. Like, it's embarrassing that you died to this thing because 4 full turn cycles by the time this thing came out in commander is like an actual decade of time. Because games frequently go to, like, turn 11. Hello. So, like, if I start attacking you on turn 6, and then to turn 10, it's just, like, it took so long to kill you. I don't play with people who scry at all. FOH with your cryptid annelid? What? Huh? Am I stupid? What is this card? When Cryptid Annelid comes into play, scry 1, then scry 2, then scry 3. What the fuck? What? What is that? This thing is 4 mana! That's crazy. Alright. That's wild. I still don't know what FOH is. Force of habit? Oh, is that what that is? Maybe? Okay. Let's actually read this stuff. Okay. None of my game's geometry is clipping because my game contains no geometry. Take that, scrubs. The jab infinite, a pain I wish on no man. What? Oh, maybe like there was like a fighting game where you could like do a jab infinite, and that's like very silly. For context, if I remember correctly, the guy who did the unwinnable game state did it mostly to see if he could pull it off. He did. However, the setup and execution required to make it is too much for you to come across such a state during a casual playthrough. Yeah, exactly. So like, again, if you are going out of your way intentionally to find this thing because you're like curious and it's interesting to do that, and you get to be like, hey, look at this thing, like we managed to do this thing, like that's fine. It's just when you're like, well, this game's bad because, and then like you point out some arbitrary bullshit, it's like whatever, man, who cares? And yeah, I guess that's the thing, is that I think people assume that perfection, like super giga omega perfection, is like the way we're going with the world, where it's like, this game had problems on release, and it's like, yeah, and then they fix them, and it's like, yeah, but it had problems on release. It's like, what? Who? Like, are you 5? What are you... Literally what? It's like, we must expect them to be perfect on release. And it's like, the thing with that just bothers me a lot, just like full disclosure, is that like, listen, man, testing games is bullshit. First of all, having a good QC team, very, very important. Very, 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 very important to have a good QC team. Second of all, there is no fucking way you can know every single, absolutely, with 100% certainty, every single bug on every single system, like computer system, that will ever run your executable. That shit is basically impossible. So, therefore, being able to fix the bugs as they come up is, like, valuable. So, if players were like, oh, this is a bug, that's unfortunate that my game experience is being ruined because of this bug, like, I'm going to report this bug, and hopefully they will fix it. But again, for some people, it's just like, this ruined my experience. I demand perfection. So, it's kind of lame. Why is that geometry clipping through the other geometry? Ah. Okay, it runs a line of code that wasn't meant to be read in that way. It does something unintended. In Paper Mario 64's case, that's starting the credit sequence. Ocarina of Time is just there to set up the code. I see. Since the code of Ocarina of Time is very well known due to arbitrary code execution hunting in that game, I see. I feel like even with fighting games where people are fine with players exploiting game mechanics on professional level, there's still things people will shun you. I'm assuming shun you for like messing with your connection or one-on-oneing people to get a good rank, etc. Well, yeah, I mean, like, messing with your connection is probably just cheating, right? Like, that's literally just cheating? Isn't that literally just cheating? That's cheating, right? Yeah, and then EXP boosting, I would assume, is also not fair. And the thing is, like, we can see this within the framework that I was positing, right? Where it's like, people don't actually care about the rank, and people don't actually care about, like, the methods in which you could abuse the game in order to win in, like, a competitive setting. Like, it's my belief that the people who are, like, competitors, the reason why they want to compete is they want to, like, show that they are better than someone else on an axis of, like on a real axis of the game they are playing, right? But if people get caught up with, like, no, I must win no matter what, then they'll do stuff like mess with their connection, which is borderline cheating. Again, like, I'm just going to... That's probably... You probably just can't do that.
Okay.
What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, like, 1v1ing someone to get better rank. So, like, you're farming rank on someone, basically. Because they're the only person on ladder and you keep beating them, right? I mean, like, how does that indicate to other players that you'll be able to beat those players or that you're better than those players? It's like, it doesn't. It's just your number went up because you, like, beat one person multiple times. That's just not... It's not indicative of, like, your skill. And that's the thing, is, like, do you care about the rating or do you care about, like, you know, what the rating is supposed to mean? Because the thing is, you can display what the rating is supposed to mean by playing the game. And if it's ever questioned, then you gotta show it, right? Like, that's the conceit. So if you only care about the rank, like, it's people who, like, buy accounts in League. It's like, why? So that you can have the status of a thing that's not actually true? Like, it's just so bizarre to me. Right? If I see an opportunity to reference a time spiral block card, then I will. Fuck out of here. Oh, that's what FOH means. Oh, okay. Fuck out of here with your cryptid annelid. True, 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 true. 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 If you want bigger games, then either you take the insane dev times or you take minor bugs on occasion, and dev times are already super long, so only one option left. Exactly. It's like, okay, guys, we could literally bug hunt for actually 5 years after the game is shippable, and then we can fix all of the bugs. And then probably even if we spent 5 years bug fixing, there will still be bugs. Hate to break it to you. Probably. Very likely. Did you know that there's different categories of bugs, by the way? Like, there's very frequently and often, like, bugs that are like, okay, this bug is very minor, and we're not really sure how to fix it at this point, so we're gonna move it to the low priority tag. It's just, that's so funny to me. It's like, listen, man, like, we just, like, literally can't. We can't waste dev time on this shit. We're gonna put it over there. So for some people, they're like, how did the devs not know? And it's like, well, maybe they did. there is a small possibility that they did. And then they were like, no one's gonna find this bug. And then it happens to someone. And they complain a lot about it. Yeah, with any luck, it'll fix itself as stuff changes. Yeah, that's also possible. Also possible. Like, you know, the bugs that get fixed that you don't know existed that got fixed, like, let's just be real here. So, I would like to think that the bugs where games crash is actually relatively infrequent. I think that they happen, probably. Like, they probably still happen to people. But I think that most of the time, games are pretty stable, right? Which is interesting, because if you think about it, there's a lot of ways that a game can break and just, like, literally crash. Like, the game explodes. And this is oftentimes when you're making, like, a new system and, like, the game, like, it just doesn't work. So the game explodes, right? So the fact that those bugs aren't there, like, you gotta wonder, like, how many game, like, actual game-breaking, like, game stability bugs have been fixed before they release the game. And you don't have to deal with any of that shit. Right? Like Assassin's Creed Unity? Oh, does that game, like, crash a lot? Because that's awesome. That's awesome if that's the case. But, yeah, usually the idea is that there's a lot of ways that games can, like, explode. Like, code can literally explode because you, like, didn't do something. So, those get fixed immediately. Right? Like, those are high priority, like, we will fix these 100%. Back then it did? That's honestly too bad. Yeah.
No.
Like, that's when I would go, like, okay, like, I expect a little bit more about the quality, like, if the game is just crashing all the time. But, yeah, like, if you want a priority list of, like, okay, like, funny NPC bug, like, oops, NPC didn't spawn in particular place, and, like, game literally fucking crashes, it's like, well, they fixed the one that said game literally fucking crashes. And then they didn't tell you about it, because they're not going to send you, like... That would be so based, actually. That would be so based. If, like... over the cycle of development, if like, a game dev studio was like, these are all the bugs that we fixed, and, like, they show you that it is an actual thousands of bugs long list of bugs they had to fix. And then they're like, yeah, so just so you're aware, we have fixed, like, 5,000 bugs before release, and then you pointed out one. We will fix it. Don't worry about it. We're gonna fix it. But also to say that it, like, the stuff that you don't see, right? You know, there's a lot of stuff you don't see, right? I guess is what I'm just trying to say. So we fixed, like, 1,000 game critical bugs, and the game was exploding. And you're telling me the hot dog was spawned 5 pixels to the left.
Okay.
Damn. Alright. Did we want to, like, do supports and stuff now that we have literally yapped for an hour?
Professor.
Do we want to play the game? Stream's over? Stream's over. We're actually going to talk to people now? Have we talked to you before?
Traveled to Kingdom territory because I was nearby. I did some good business.
You're cute.
Apparently, supplies are needed to reconstruct the Kingdom capital and the surrounding towns. I wonder where I should go next.
Yeah, I don't know what the business strategy is of medieval Fire Emblem. Only after an hour? Yeah. I'm weak-willed, so after an hour we're getting out of here. Okay. Anna. Anna. Hello, Anna.
The alliance is just gone. It's hard to believe.
The merchants of Deirdre all have nerves of steel. I'm sure they'll be up and running again in no time.
Nice. That's cute. I wanted to mention that because we were talking about good characters in this game. Good wives? I don't want to say waifu, because that term is cringe. But I do really appreciate when it's like, okay, so I don't know anything about the marketing infrastructure of Fire Emblem. But then you talk to someone like Anna, and she's like, yeah, I mean, you know, the merchants from, like, this place, like, they're really... Like, they are actually very competent people who, like, rebuild very fast, so I'm confident that they'll, like, their supply routes will be up and running in no time. Like, that's cute. Because there's no way I ever would have known that, and I'm glad that you know that. You know what I mean? Because, like, sure, tell me about trade routes. Please. I don't really know how to describe that thing. It's like if your significant other was talking about, like, a hobby that you just, like, will never interact with. It's like, damn, cool. I'm glad that is, like, it's like you understand enough to say, like, oh, that's really cool.
Have you heard of the Crescent Moon War? That's when the Alliance won their independence from the kingdom. Some 300 years ago, the ruling Duke of Leicester died without an heir. And the lords with blood ties to House Lyria took that chance to propose ruling the Leicester territory as a republic. The head of House Regan led the Leicester lords and fought fiercely with Farkas. They won independence from the kingdom. And now, here we are.
What is up with just, like, NPCs in this game? Dropping the mad, sick, nasty lore.
The alliance has really been disbanded? I never thought such a thing could happen. As long as it doesn't negatively impact our lives, I don't care much whether we're the kingdom or the alliance.
Cool.
With the Empire destroyed, the borders within Fodlan will likely become a thing of the past. With that, the rules of trade will change. Personally, I'm excited to see what these changes will bring.
I'm gonna raise the volume a bit, because I think it's maybe a bit quiet. Okay. God, I hate Old English pronunciation. Why is bladed? Yeah, I don't. What was it pronounced like?
Have you heard of the Crest? Some 300 and the lords with blood ties to House Lyria took that.
Bladed? The only blade I know is. The only blade I know is attached to Brain
That
Rot.
reminds me.
Hello there.
Fort Mercius is next, huh? Ah, the memories. It's a huge stronghold in my father's domain. The town's completely surrounded by high walls. I used to run around there when I was a kid. Way back when a fortress was just a playground for me. Yeah, those were the days.
Bladed? Oh. I just wasn't paying enough attention. Oh. Plug back in. What? How is it supposed to? So, okay, wait. So is that the new pronunciation or the old pronunciation? What is it supposed to be pronounced like?
Let me
Is it supposed to be pronounced Blathed? Or Bladed?
Professor.
What did Blade do? What did Blade did? Yeah, I always find etymology pretty cool too. But again, another one of those, like, I'm never gonna fucking look into this kind of thing.
We defeated Lord Arundel. The Emperor must have been surprised. If we can keep up that fervor, perhaps we'll capture Fort Mercius and move on to the Imperial capital. We must not be overconfident, though.
Because it's an insidious killer, right? Yeah, like I really liked when Keijo was translating the German names when we were watching Freeman. Freeman. When we were watching Freerun, he was translating the names. So I like that. That is the correct. Oh my god, that is the correct pronunciation. But because English is like it is, the writing has changed a ton and the pronunciation has stayed the same. Yeah, let's proceed with caution.
I concur. Humans and beasts are ultimately the same. When they're cornered, they lash out however they can. They fight for their lives. Who knows how the Emperor will lash out? We have to be careful.
Okay. There's like a making the Emperor into a beast joke here. But I don't have it. I'm not quite sure how to put it together.
I have a thought. So Lady Rhea was in the Empire all this time. Wish I'd known that 5 years ago. But there's nothing we can do about it now. What we can do, though, is topple the Empire. Will you seize victory with us, Professor? For the sake of the late Captain.
I mean, what would you have done if you knew it 5 years ago, Eloise? Would you have, like, marched in there by yourself? Like, it probably wouldn't have worked, you know? I don't think that's, like, a good... I don't think that's good, dude. Mercedes. Oh.
The Archbishop has been taken to the Empire, just as we thought. But why hasn't Edelgard killed her yet? If she intended to use her as a hostage, she'd have publicly announced that she was unharmed. We don't know what the Emperor's intentions are. All we can do is fight on and pray the Archbishop is okay.
Doesn't matter how sturdy the keep. If the commander defending it is incompetent, it can fall as easy as anything. That's what they say, at least. I wonder if that applies to Fort Merceus. All I know is, if I was the Emperor, I'd never in a million years assign an incompetent commander to a fort as important as that one.
Hey, Crystal, welcome. Welcome. Thanks for subbing. Also, wait, hold on a second. I actually want to change the title because I forgot this is actually what I want the title to be. Pregnatable Fortress. That's what I wanted the title to be. We're gonna pregnate this fortress so hard. Also, yeah, that actually makes sense, boy. They could have been like training to overtake the capital if they knew where she was, instead of like searching and doing nothing.
That's so.
I think also saying like, oh, I would have wanted to know that 5 years ago, just for the purposes of knowing it 5 years ago, is completely reasonable.
Death Knight. Going to fight the Death Knight. To be perfectly honest, I am.
Yeah. I mean, sorry. We're gonna have to KO them on screen this time again. Also, I wanted to say, I mean, we're talking to NPCs, so I don't really want to, like, talk over them. But, not that I need to, like, talk to every NPC and listen to every single thing they're saying, but...
most fortified military installation. Utterly impregnable, they say.
Hanneman, listen, man. Oh my god. I don't know if you guys have seen the, like, reignite a dying star meme. But we gotta do that except for Fort Merceus. We gotta reignite you can reignite a dying star, dude. Fertility booster.
I wonder, do you happen to know the nickname given to Fort Merceus?
No. Was it this?
That one is a fortress that stands at Fodlan's throat.
Okay.
Seems Fodlans give everyone and everything a nickname. Why, you were called the Ashen Demon. Myself, I have been called the Father of Crestology, which is a nickname as
Why
well
are you
as a
blushing
title,
at that,
I
Hanneman?
suppose.
What? Yeah, so there's a couple things. First of all, I tried a new marketing strategy because I have there's Manuela. Here, let's finish talking to these people first.
I'm reminded of another part of my past. Riches and poverty, glory and failure. That city has it all. And if I'm honest, sometimes I miss it. That's how the past works, though, isn't it? It's always a different story than what you really lived.
That's fair, boy. I didn't think of it that way. Yeah, like literally being called like the father of like the Steam engine would be like, oh wow, I mean like, yeah, I guess that's me, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, the thing that I was gonna say was I actually, so, you know, I made the post that we've gained some subs recently, which I'm happy about. But so in the past, I have paid for advertising for videos. And the reason was because I'm like, I mean, this just seems like a good idea, right? And they even baked in a feature like to promote videos, like that just exists now. Which leads you to Google advertising. So you can like set up ads that way. But the thing is, I've done it before. I was like, I want to try something like slightly different, right? And this doesn't undermine the end of this is that it's not inherently going to undermine the point, and I'm, you know, glad that it did decently well. It seemed like a lot of people like actually watched the video, or like there were a few people who actually kind of watched the video because the watch time is like pretty high. That's cool. That's good. I like that. But yeah, I tried something different this time, which is that I made a small ad, like literally like a 20-second ad, like meme snippet thing to show. I did fall asleep to it a few times. Based. Let's go. Yeah, so I made a short form thing, and then like ran it through Google Ads, and then I had the click through on that ad to go to the video, like the long form one. Now, you would say that, oh, that means like the video performed very poorly and actually a lot of the views came from the click-through. But actually what happened was that the ads themselves did well. So I think YouTube showed the ads as videos like in their recommended, and then it played the ad, right? Or like the video, like the short form video, because like that's how they were promoting it, which isn't how I wanted them to promote it, but is what happened. So people clicked into it and then they like liked the video. Like they just liked the short form video. Like there's views on it and people liked it. And I think I got subs from that, first of all. Second of all, the click through into the larger video was only like 5% or less. So 5% or less of the views on the long form video are as a result of the advertising. Liking ads. Yeah. So that was bizarre. I don't know. People seem to like the video. I thought they were funny videos for sure. But basically, what I was planning on doing was after the ad campaign is done, I'm going to unlisted the video so that I can like be its own video and maybe it'll get promoted to people on its own. Because I think it's pretty funny. I don't want to unlist it. I don't want to list it now because it feels weird to do that while the ad is actually running. But yeah, I don't know, that it's interesting. Because I thought that, oh, people will click through from this ad into the thing. But actually what I should do is make a publishable version of a video. like in the same way that I would make a video normally, like, and then publish it, and then promote that one. Because what will happen is that while it's getting served to the algorithm, it will also get views from the advertising, which will probably bolster how it gets received in the algorithm, which is cool. I didn't think of doing it that way, and I wanted to try doing something differently, because previously, I just like made a 20-minute video and then like advertised it. And then people were like, this is a good video. Thank you, ads, for showing me this. But in this case, I thought like, oh, well, you know, it seems weird to advertise like a full 2-hour thing. Like, that doesn't make sense. Why would I do that? So I'm going to make a shorter form video and then click them through into the thing. But that just like didn't happen. So what I should actually do is I should release both things at the same time, which lead to each other. Like both the short form video and the long form video. And then have the short form video point to the long form video, but advertise the short form one because that's better for advertising. But not make an advertising specifically for the purpose of advertising and then expect them to like click through into the long form video, because that's also not really how it works. It's like people will enjoy the short form content as it is and then maybe consider watching the long form content. And I'm like, oh, that's like cool. Like that's actually kind of interesting that I like can see that in like how this advertising campaign went. Which, by the way, you know, I literally took the funds from the anniversary stream and was like, okay, it's going into advertising. Which, by the way, I sent a really long thing to a friend of mine because I was sort of complaining about this, but like, I just want to break this down for a second because I thought that this was like bizarre. So first of all, Rants, no, we haven't done supports yet. I was talking to people in the monastery, but I want to break this down because I think this is actually like crazy, like actually ridiculous. So we're going to frame like being a content creator as like effectively being an indie startup, right? Cut the video into 120 shorts. I actually was thinking in the future that maybe I should do like 10-minute segments instead of like a 2-hour long video. Maybe. I don't know. But okay, so this is completely bizarre to me. So like picture starting a YouTube channel and like wanting to be a content creator as like doing an indie startup, right? Like that's the framing I'm using for this. The conversion rate of like advertising budget to subscriber, like when you're optimizing people to subscribe to your channel, assuming those people like will actually maybe interact with your content or like they like your memes or the way that you format videos or something like that. Like the idea is that the ad gets shown to like thousands of people. Like I think my ad got shown currently to like 30,000 people. And that means that the ad started playing for them and then they either watched or skipped the ad before they like fully actually watched the thing. So of the people who actually watched the video, there was like 500, and then like that converted down to like 70, I think, subscribers, right? So the thing is, like, let's assume you can make good content, and then you make like a good ad, and then maybe you have like an advertising team, right? If the conversion rate of like advertising budget to subscriber is approximately somewhere between like 70 cents to $2, that means you can pay anywhere between $6,000 to $18,000 in advertising budget. Like, let's assume over the course of like a month of multiple like releases of good ads. And then like you have this huge advertising budget that gets sent to a lot of people. Let's assume also that you're able to target the right demographic for your like content because like you have an advertising team or something like that that like knows who you want to market to. You do all those things. You pay like $10,000 and then you convert to having 10,000 subscribers of people who actually watched your ad because they thought it was funny or the content was good. Then you just have 10,000 subs. And then like if you convert that down again, right, like 5% of those people interact with your live streams. Like that's like 500 views on your live streams. If 1% of those people are concurrent, that's like having a 100 concurrent viewer count. If 1% of those people, or not 1%, half of those, even if it was 50 or 25, that's like, you literally just paid like 10,000 in advertising to have like a 25 concurrent viewer count. That's insane to me. Like that's crazy. And it just clicked for me that, you know, there are people who start VTuber companies, basically. And I'm like, why would you do that? Like, why is this actually valuable, right? Which one of the main things I would think is advertising. And then you think about like the conversion of money to advertising to success, like whatever that means. And it's like, wow, yeah, I mean, I guess if you just like throw this as their advertising budget and then a bunch of people like member to that person over the course of 2 years, like for like 18 months, I actually don't even know if that's a very good conversion, because probably not. But like assuming that that's what it takes to like start up a business and like be moderately successful, that's kind of wild. Just like so pay to win. And I'm like, damn, I need a small loan of $10,000 to make bad commercials that people will cringe and look at my account, you know? And then presumably if you have, the hope is that if you have 10,000 subscribers that like YouTube pushes your video slightly more, because,
Well,
I mean, that is somehow true to me, because for example, the amount of subscribed people that watch the content, like when content comes out, is like, there's like the regulars, like you guys will watch. But then there's a number of people who aren't, like, who are subscribed but then don't watch stuff, right? So that is to say that you want a majority of your views and watch time to be from algorithm pushes. So like 70% of a good video will be pushed via algorithm, and then like by click-through rate and watch time, like the algorithm will push it more or less. But I feel like there is a modifier based on, you know, how many subs you have, or in general your like success in the field. Because like, okay, well, if I only get it pushed to a few people, and then like the amount of impressions is how many times your like thumbnail was shown so that people can like click on it. So like at the very start, I got like 100 impressions for a live stream, but now I get like 3.0k, 3.0, like 3,000, let's say, by the end of a stream. And then after the stream, I might get like 12,000. And then 5% of those people click through in order to actually like watch the content, right? So my understanding is that based on channel size, like you get proportionately more or less like impressions, right? This could be completely false, by the way, but like that's my observation, is that at one point in time I had like 100 impressions, and then I had like 1,000 impressions, and it was like relatively correlated to my channel size. So whatever that means. Remember, Flower, we can always kidnap the viewers. Oh my god. We are not going to do that. That's a no. No.
Professor.
But yeah, I don't know. I was doing the math on it, and then I was like, wow. $10,000 for a startup is like,
Hey, you.
that's really low, in my opinion, because like it takes like 1 million to run an indie game company for a year. Like $1 million, like actually just to pay everyone's salary. That's like, yeah. So I don't know, man. That's wild to me. Advertising is wild. First of all, that it just like works, and second of all, that it's like, yeah, I mean, if you just have money, you could just like throw it at advertising and win. Like, that's crazy. That's actually so wild.
Fort Merceus is a keep that was constructed to defend the imperial capital, Enbar. We cannot enter the capital without first capturing that fort. But once we have it, the city should be almost entirely at our mercy. Now that we know Rhea is there, we must move with the utmost urgency.
Like, I don't want to harp on it for too long, because maybe it was boring or something. But like, is that not wild? I feel like that's kind of wild. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, how do you get people to think about like your burger chain? It's like, well, if you just throw like billions of dollars at advertising every day, then like you just make money. Good pun, Seteth. The fort would be at your mercy. Oh my god.
So, we're finally invading Empire territory, huh? There's not much we can do right now, except pray for deliverance.
Man,
I truly believe that we have it in us to succeed.
the undershadow on the NPCs always scares me a little bit, man. You got lost inside the McDonald's play place. Why? Were you unable to get out? It was too difficult? How'd you get lost?
From this point onward, we're in all-out war with the Empire. Are you prepared, Professor?
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it. That means we can approach the coming battles with peace of mind. First, we capture Fort Mercius. The fighting will undoubtedly be brutal, but we must prevail. As far as this army and I are concerned, you're our last ray of hope. We are relying on you.
I thought ads were just there to annoy you to pay for premium or something for the longest time. Like, make you pay, yeah. So, that's the interesting thing, Panda, is that I think I am in the circles, like, the people I generally surround myself with, is that we're of the same mind, where it's like, ads are annoying, I don't want to listen to ads at all. Like, there's, like, you can't pay me enough money to listen to ads. Like, fuck this. I don't want the ad stuff in my brain, right? However, there are people who watch ads. They exist. It's actually like a lot of people. There's plenty of people. Like, advertising works. That's why I was like, wow, that's crazy. That people just, they just like straight up watch ads. So if they watch an ad about a VTuber being silly in Fire Emblem, and then they're like, oh, that's like really cool, and then they sub, it's like, yeah, that was the purpose. And it's not like a bad, like, I don't think it's a bad thing, or necessarily the way that I'm looking at or using it. Like, I don't see it as bad. It's just like, I'm gonna show this to a lot of people, and then the people who like it can sub. Because they're like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool, like, I'll sub to that. So for example, if like, you were looking for something to eat, and then you see an ad for a pizza, and then you're like, oh yeah, sure, I'll have pizza, right? It's like there is an empty space for you to think about. Like, there was a potential space for you to think about solving your problem of hunger with some kind of ad. And then the ad says, hey, you can have a pizza. And for some people, I think, like myself included, I don't like the undertext or undertone that, like, by showing me something, like literally by putting information in my eyeballs, which is showing me a pizza, an advertisement of a pizza, I don't like that they are effectively using that, like, literally just to put information in my eyes to make me buy something. And then they'll keep showing it to you, and, like, you know, you can be very resilient, but then, like, 1 month later, if you thought of buying a pizza from, like, a pizza brand, was it because you wanted a pizza from that pizza brand, or was it because you were shown 20 commercials of it 1 month ago, and then you happened to come to the conclusion that you're going to buy a pizza from them? Like, think about it. If that information was never in your brain, if you never knew that brand existed, like, if you never knew that brand existed at all, if you had no information of that brand in your brain, you cannot make the decision to choose to buy their pizza. So, what advertising does is they just put it in your brain. And then they keep putting it in your brain continuously until you buy. I don't see it that way. Like, I personally do not see it that way, the way that I was using ads. The way I was using it was, hey, are you interested in this thing? Please look at it. And then there were some people who liked it. So I was like, cool. That's awesome. I'm glad that there were some people who liked it. Like, I am not concerned about converting customers who didn't, like, I'm not filling some kind of need that they want. Also, welcome, Sable. Right? Like, I'm not trying to say, like, the next time you think about a pizza or the next time you think about a VTuber, think about me instead. I'm not suggesting that. I just wanted the, like, more reach that an ad can provide. So I was like, I'll make the ad funny, like, I'll make it an enjoyable video, and that seems to be what happened, is that people, like, it gets sent to a lot of people, so the conversion rate is rather low, right? Like, there are people who just aren't interested in whatever my content has to offer. That's totally fine. But the people who are interested, like the video. The like percentage on it is so high, it's ridiculous. I think the one ad has like 150 views, and the like ratio is like 38 or something. That's obscenely high. Like, a good like ratio on YouTube is like 4%. And that's like 20. Right? So it's like the people who actually watched the ad kind of liked it because they thought it was funny. That's cool. Like, I'm glad I can offer that. And I think the backbone or value of using advertising in this case is just like literally to put it in front of more eyeballs. But yeah, as a whole, I generally dislike the mentality or idea that like what an ad is trying to do, like a pizza ad, is like literally just like put it in your brain. It's like, I don't want this information in my brain. Don't put it in my brain. So, you know. No joke, once had a 10-hour YouTube ad pop up. Yeah, that's probably because what they did was they promoted a 10-hour live stream or something, and then they just like, or video, like they made a 10-hour video and then was like, YouTube promote this, and then it's like not. It's just like stupid, you know. Okay, let me read this stuff. I was fighting a giant in there. After smiting him, I lost track of direction. Oh, I see. Oh, they're there for YouTube to not lose as much money. I actually think it's profitable now somehow. Oh, what, ads? Sure. I really only hate them because it's the same ads most of the time. It's very annoying. Yeah, getting sent the same ad over and over again, for sure. There's actually a setting for that. There's a setting that says the maximum amount of times you can show an ad to somebody. Which, again, as I was saying, I don't like that part of, like, the ad ethos, is that the right term? Is to, like, quantitatively put an idea in your head. So I actually, the ad limit, I think it would be better, like, to convince someone to sub. Like, if you put the ad in front of their face, like, multiple times, like 20 plus times, like the same ad, then maybe there would be better conversions. But I put the maximum limit actually at 3. Like, literally, like, if you have shown my ad to this person 3 times, do not show it to them again. I put it extremely low. Like, if you think of how many videos somebody watches, like, in a YouTube, like, setting, you know what I mean? Like, you're what? Like, flicking through, like, 20 videos a day, maybe? More than? Depending on what kind of content you watch. And, like, there's maybe 5 ads in each of those videos. You see, like, 100 ads a day? Like, what if all of those ads were me every time? And it's like, you know what? On the 20th ad, fine. I will actually sub to them. Like, this is actually, you know, this video is all right. Fine. I'll actually watch the video. Maybe this is fine. It's like, I don't want to do that shit. Like, if genuinely, like, your reaction to watching this thing is like, God, I don't want to listen to this at all, you click off, that's fine. I'll show it to you a couple more times. Maybe. But if it's, like, not, then, like, I don't care. It's fine. But you could definitely just swarm someone's ads by saying, like, no, show it to them 100 times. And then you get the same ad. And it's like, dude, I don't want to watch this person. Stop showing me their ad. Right? Lucky all my ads are in Japanese or really bad mobile game scams, so I don't have to worry about it. That's fair. Oh, it was a Christianity ad on converting to Christianity? Oh, God. The scary thing is that probably worked on some people. In, like, a weird cultish way, not the, like, you know, there are some parables in Christianity that might be useful to people. In more of a, like, we're gonna, we're gonna ad swarm you until you become Christian. You've been getting trust in the Lord ads on top. Wait, that's hilarious. That's so funny. That's so funny. YouTube as a service was losing Google money for a long time. I think it's profitable now. Oh, interesting. I actually didn't know that. I thought the difference was that YouTube was actually profitable. Welcome, Amanda. Thank you so much for subbing. Yeah, I thought it was profitable because, like, literally because of ads. I thought it was just, like, literally, hey, ads make money. There's a lot of ads. It's pretty vicious on mobile because you can't really use a blocker in the app. Haven't been on there since my early college days. I haven't been long, but I understand it's kind of broken even. It's better in some ways and worse in others. Back from lunch, howdy again? Yeah, we're just yapping. We tried doing like any gameplay for 2 seconds and then we were just yapping. People are in a bad place and looking for a sign, get hit with a Christianity ad might actually work. I think so, like actually. It's something like cults try to target people when they're like making life transitions, which is very interesting because ads actually do similar. So like you can target people based on life events for advertising, which is like a very interesting thing to conceptualize. But let's say someone is moving houses. If you give them a furniture ad, then they might buy your furniture. Like it's the same thing, you know. For a long time, the server maintenance cost was higher than the ad money. Interesting. Because YouTube obviously uses a lot of server space. Yeah. Yeah, which I've thought about this before, but like, man, the fact that YouTube has space somewhere that's like literally storing my VODs is so funny to me. Like, it's actually hilarious. Like, Twitch deletes VODs, right? Because they can't keep VODs up forever for server space, costs, whatever. But the fact that YouTube literally, like, there is probably a VOD somewhere where it's just an hour of me talking about wanting to get, like, railed by some, like, chupacabra or something. You know what I mean? And it's like, YouTube's like, yep, that goes over there. Yep, we're just gonna put that in that corner over there. Thanks, YouTube. I appreciate that. Oh, man. They should at least use the cool 80s Jesus hats where he's using sunglasses and skateboards. Yeah, you gotta appeal to the people who are in their, I guess, like 40s, 50s now? What is the 20... 40s. It'd be mid-40s. Twitch is still not profitable, however, despite Amazon's many attempts to make it so. Lascivious Von Lyria, stored forever by YouTube. Yeah, exactly. I mean, hey man, like, maybe night terror demons aren't so bad. If they want to, like, you know, get freaky with it.
It appears that Claude has dissolved the Alliance. He's thrown away the pride of all the Lester Lords who have walked the path of independence from Fargus for generations. I said from the start that he was not suitable to lead.
Ugh. Yeah, Lorenz, are you you mad? Can I do this? I don't know what Lorenz wants me to say, but... Yeah, fuck you.
Well, times have changed, haven't they? I suppose we can trust the kingdom now.
Was I supposed to say, uh-huh? Like... Where is Thea? Thea! Talk to me, Thea.
Incredible. The Lester Alliance is no more. 300 years of history. Gone and done. They write operas about events like this, you know? Dimitri will be played by the most handsome actor of the time. Hearts will pound as he takes the stage. What am I saying? Surely the most handsome man would play you.
Thea? That's lewd. What the... Whoa. What the... I'm gonna be honest with you, like, you know, I know that I clown on how I really don't want Dorothea to be my wife, but man, sometimes she just, like, hits the flirt button and I'm like, blush? What? Oh my god! I wish someone would say that to me, riz me up, you know? That's wild, dude. I wonder what she says to F. Byleth. Yeah, I don't know. maybe they say like something similar, right? You know what I mean? No. I think he was just pointing to the fact that like the dialogue was gendered. So probably like when it's F. Byleth, she just says the most beautiful, like the most beautiful lady on the thing would be you. And just for full transparency, she could also be saying that without Riz, just like for the record. Like I think it could totally be fair for in this context for you to say something like, nah, like clearly the most beautiful person would be like you. As like actually like I don't know if this makes sense, but like literally saying that as like a platonic compliment of like, nah, like someone who would play you, like, dude, we should get like The Rock to play you, for example. Like something like that. Right? You know, I think they can still say that platonically. However, listen, man, like vocal cadence was a little flirt there, you know what I mean? Like that's what it felt like to me. Felt like the vocal cadence was a little flirty there. Have I done all the dialogue options? She's just struck by your divine aura. I'm just saying that, you know, maybe, I don't know. I want to avoid the allegations of me being a... it's like, I don't even know what a good way to say this is. Like, being a horny, degenerate male. And it's like, well, unfortunately, all of those are true, so I don't know if I can... I don't know if I can dodge those allegations. But, no, I think that there is actually a reasonable way to say that platonically while saying, like, nah, man. No, dude, my friends, like, look good. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not... I don't know. Like, you can say, like, nah, man, you're attractive, and then not, like, not be weird about it. You should try to mod your OC into this game. If I had a 3D model and I knew how to mod Switch games, I would do it. Just have my dumpy swinging around. I have no idea how to do that, though. Excuse me. Sure, but beautiful woman doesn't quite work the same when referring to Dimitri in the same breath. Yes, I agree. But I think they would just say, well, Dimitri is a handsome man, but the most beautiful actor, like actress on screen would actually be whatever. So, or on stage. Remember this part where she flirts with Edelgard? Oh, Dorothea. She definitely could, but it's in her character to raise you up. Yeah, I think she's like a little flirty, you know. I'm just like, damn, dude. Swoon. She keeps flirting me up. Or is just a general shrimp? A shrimp for all? Yeah, basically. Like, let's remember when I talked about Dimitri's warrior stink. I'm gonna stop talking forever now. Yeah, the most handsome man would play Dimitri. To no, the most beautiful woman would play you. Yeah, I think there's a way to pivot that. And the most beautiful, yeah, something like that. Yeah. Flower would totally replace Gatekeeper. Yeah, I think it'd be really funny if I was like, if I was Gatekeeper and I'm just like, nothing to report. Just like record all the voice lines. That'd be funny. Dorothy has been hanging around with Manuela too much. I mean, actually though, right? Weren't they in like the same opera company or something?
Let's see, is it true Lady Rhea was taken to the Empire? Why'd they take Lady Rhea? Professor, they didn't take her to kill her, did they?
They probably haven't killed. I don't know which way of saying this is better, but it's like I don't think so.
Good. We just gotta beat the Imperial Army and get her back, right? You gotta
Yes.
help her, Professor. I'm begging you.
We're gonna do it. Don't worry, Cyril. I like Manuela more. Drunk and lovesick teacher. Manuela is very cute. Big fan. I think we need to do meals and supports. So let's do supports first, and then we'll do meals. Supports. Oh my god, it's gonna be like hours upon hours of support, so god. We aren't even gonna get to the battle today. I don't
I have a
think.
question for you. Answer quickly before my hand slips and I cut you in half.
Always so ominous. Well, what is it, Felix?
Sometimes you have an animal's face, contorted with anger and bloodlust. At other times, a man's with a friendly smile.
I have a bias towards older women. I mean, the age of 30 is in demand. Right? Like, that's just real. Right? Why did they kidnap the biggest threat to the biggest treat? I know you corrected it, but the biggest treat to the Empire. That dragon tail, bruh. Cyril, you idiot. I'm going to be real. You capture the enemy leader, you kill the enemy leader. Could be.
Which is your true face?
Both. The answer is both.
Do not waste your breath on questions with such obvious answers. They are both the real me. My father, my friends, Glenn. They all meant a great deal to me. And they were all brutally slaughtered. I alone survived. If I do not shoulder the anguish and regret they must have felt, who will?
So that's how you justify your atrocities.
What do you mean?
I will fulfill my duty to the late king. My old man used to say that over and over like a mantra. How nauseating. No one seems to understand. The dead won't acknowledge your loyalty. They don't care. What a load of bunk it is, pretending to serve a corpse. You're serving your own ego.
You are wrong.
No, I'm not. The dead are dead. The living are living. You have to
are we gonna
respect
talk
that
about
bond.
spirits and stuff?
If you
Like,
keep
I don't know,
stringing
man.
gravestones around your neck, you'll snap.
Even still, I cannot forget them, nor can I let them go.
Then keep those thoughts to yourself. If you're too weak to do that, abandon your throne. Become a gravekeeper.
Felix.
I'm not immune to emotion, you know. Far from it. I haven't gone a day without questioning why my father and brother had to die, while I survived. I'll bear this pain until the day I die, but I refuse to wallow in it. I have more important things to do than blubber for my whole life.
You know, Felix, you really are growing more and more like your brother. Always so sarcastic and constantly looking for a fight. But deep inside, more than anyone, you...
What are you getting at?
Oh, it's nothing. But allow me to thank you. Your perspective has opened my eyes.
Not my intention. I couldn't stand the pathetic look on your face, that's all.
I see. If you say so, then we will leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Eyes. He's a bit monochromatic about it, but Felix kind of spitting. The Felix-Dimitri dynamic is really cool. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's... My problem with Felix normally is that, like, he's a little... Like, he's blunt in a not useful way. It's like, the dead are dead. It's like, that's... But if your purpose, or the thing you are trying to communicate and have the other person understand is that it's like, you know, let's assume no afterlife, that, like, the dead aren't, like, watching you. Like, they're in the ground. You know, like, they aren't... The after image of the things that you bring forward with you are in your mind, right? Like, being haunted by the things of your past, as we talked about when we watched, like, Dimitri's scene and whatever. You know, if that's the revelation you're trying to get to, like, just blatantly telling them that the dead are dead is, like, not usually the best way to get people on your side or, like, be on your team. You know, which it didn't seem like Dimitri had, like, a strong sense of like spiritualism or anything like that, right? So he was pretty on board with Felix's take, but I think that there could be an even worse outcome where someone is like particularly spiritual and like to them, like, no, the dead do exist. Like spirits do exist and it is like important to do them proud, right? And that in the sense that that's real to them. So even more so when it's like part of a core belief and saying like, no, that literally doesn't exist. It's like, well, you're just not going to go anywhere with this at all, right? So I don't really... Like, the reason why this works is because it was written in a script. But to be completely honest with you, I think that the nuance which is required in order to, like, have a discussion with someone is not generally propagated by, like, just raw invalidating them over and over again. Like, that's like some... you know... Anyways. I was about to throw, like, a bunch of social media outlets under the bus. But, like, it's the typical, like, over-bluntness on social media, like, why don't you see it my way kind of ideology, which is, like, I think is, like, extremely unproductive. Right? And this is coming from someone who needs to, like, sort through discourse on, like, a daily basis as my job description. Like, you get better at it, it's a skill. You know? I don't think the game supports the way he says things. His bluntness is a character flaw, hence his low charisma, and honestly, he's taking out his anger on Dimitri. He sees Dimitri's weakness and pain as his own, and he also views himself as a monster. Yeah, it's like, you know, I could see that. I can, like, understand that. And once again, like, we can see or, like, assume projection here, right? Which is kind of, like, what you're getting at, right? Where... Like, yeah, if Felix is kind of projecting because, like, he doesn't have a good sense of how to, like, come to terms with his own things. Like, he said, like, I'm constantly, like, I also mourn the death of, like, my brother and father, that, like, you know. My problem with that is, like, I think the thing that Felix doesn't understand, which is, like, sort of my perspective on it, is that, like, okay, so the after image of the people who are around you that existed while they were alive affects you as you move forward in your life. Like, the good times you had with them, like, the positive memories, the negative ones, the discourse you had to go through with them, those experiences are real insofar as, like, how they may affect you today. And what you can do is say that I want to respect the time that I had with those people. Like, when I had a fight with my brother about, like, this stupid bullshit, I remember that. That was real, and that meant something to me. So, in their memory, I will continue to, like, recognize and acknowledge they were a real person, and that happened. And that can be, like, a sense of, like, motivation and strength for people, right? And that's what I think is, like, important about the concept of, like, well, saying the dead are dead isn't actually important for acknowledging that, like, your experiences affect and shape your personality, right? I know that, like, you can be aware that they are dead, that they are, like, 6 feet under, regardless of if you believe some, like, religion or spiritualism. Like, the reality for me is that, like, well, your experiences affected you. And, like, you can have them be important to you. And you can also discard them. Like, whatever that means to you. Like, if this person died, and then, like, all the experiences you had with this person were negative, and, like, you need to discard them and yell at their grave, like, that's fine, too. It's just different, right? So that's why I feel like Felix saying something like, well, the dead are dead. It's like, we can infer what he's trying to get at, or that it is projection, but I'm saying that, like, you know, I don't think that's necessarily what some people mean when they want to, like, when the intentions of the dead follow them. Which we know that in Dimitri's case, it was a little hyperbolized and, like, not good. But I think to some extent, like for something like Rodrigue, where he says like, live for what you believe in, like that was very powerful to Dimitri, and he believes in that, and he wants to bring that forward because he thinks it's important. Like that's fine, right? Rodrigue doesn't need to be like alive in order for him to treat that as real or something that he brings forward with him. So again, that's kind of where I like delineate from Felix being, whoa, super woke, extra baked, extra base dude, whoa, Felix spitting how it is. It's like, yeah, but that's not the point, right? I mean, just look at the Three Houses fandom discourse. Yeah, this is why I would highly recommend not looking at the Three Houses fandom discourse. Well, again, this is the thing, right? This is why I don't like hanging out in communities. Like, I don't like participating in, yeah, I guess like fandom group discourse communities, etc., whatever, because it's like, it's not, yeah, I don't know. I feel like group opinions often just turn into like muck. You know what I mean? Like it's just like nothing burgers. Video game discourse was always stupid to me. People turning fake events into fandom warfare reminds me of the Star Wars community sometimes. I think it's fair to have opinion on things, want to share that opinion, and then interact with other people. But what I'm saying is that, like, oftentimes what appears to be the case is that when you are entrenched in a fandom or community, that, like, that can lead to unnuanced discourse. Because when you're part of a fandom, you start making assumptions about how other people see things because you're in a fandom. Like, the ideology starts blending together, and you stop being a person and you start being the fandom. Right? So it's like, okay, well, what is the assumption about how people see Ingrid in the fandom? You know what I mean? So, as soon as you have a differing opinion from that, then, like, you can't have a conversation anymore because it's like, well, we hate that person here. You know what I mean? Like, it's impossible to talk to these people because they're just wearing, like, the identity of the fandom because they need to, like, meet some kind of social standard about what they're allowed to say and what they're not allowed to say. That's why I don't like fandoms. Like, I'm a person. I'm an individual. I play Fire Emblem. I think Fire Emblem is cool. I have opinions on Fire Emblem. Other people are allowed to have opinions on Fire Emblem. Other people are in groups are allowed to have opinions as a group on the game. But generally, like, I don't like the idea of, like, putting that in a big group that is, like, monolithic. I don't think that's valuable. I feel both Dimitri and Felix are both purposely being shown to deal with trauma the wrong way. I really relate in seeing people like Felix who react to trauma the way he does. So I can sympathize even if I don't personally agree, and I totally understand if someone can't. Yeah, which is why I was saying it's like we could say that Felix is projecting here, right? And say that, like, listen, you know, we can't really be too mad at the guy because, like, he's just like doesn't understand himself very well and is kind of dumb. So, you know, it's not like I expect anything of him, but once again, like, I'm saying where I disagree with this person. And I think that if this person was my friend, like if Felix was my friend, I would, like, be able to talk to them in a way where, like, usually the reaction is like, oh, I didn't see it that way. Like, that's usually what happens when I talk to people about these things. Where, like, there's a little bit of back and forth, and then I say, like, oh, I didn't see it. Like, the way you are describing the dead is that, like, it's not important to you to, like, carry forward their intention. And they, like, either agree or disagree with that, depending. And they say, like, I kind of get that. Like, I'm not just saying that. It's like, I understand. I don't feel that way, but I get it. And then you can offer your own opinion and say, like, well, like, I see it this way. And I think, like, carrying their intention forward can have a lot of meaning to you and be a source of inspiration. And they say, like, well, I can't get inspiration from the dead. And I say, okay, that's fine. It's very important to me, but if it is not something that you value or can't relate to, then that's fine. I understand that not every person is going to, like, see things the same way I do. But maybe I'm just in a circle jerk with all of my friends, and I'm the one in the middle, you know what I mean? But that's dumb. I think usually conversations I have with people go well. I don't think... Yeah. But I could also... Like, I actually talked to one friend about this where I was like, I'm kind of scared that I'm, like, blowing smoke up my own ass. Because I feel like I just like, argue with people. But, like, I don't think... I don't think I'm doing it in a way that I'm just, like, trying to convince people all the time and, like, they have to listen to me, you know? This character type is very polarizing. Yeah, this is for Felix. It just gets unnecessarily nasty a lot of the time. Well, yeah, see, that's the thing, is that, like, I feel like the reason why people do that is because, like, they're trying to protect their, like, fragile ego, right? Because, like, this is a situation that I think of a lot of the time where, let's say, for example, that you have a core worldview, right? So, you know, let's say you dislike a character very heavily, and, like, that's part of your worldview, and, like, for multiple years you've been slam dunking on this character and you're just, like, mad at them all the time. And then later on you find out, you know what, actually, like, I don't know if I believe that. You know, I don't believe that they're actually, like, a bad person, and I've come around and reconsidered my opinion on this, right? What does that say about the multiple years you spent shitting on them? It means you're a fucking asshole. That's what it means. Like, it means that you spent a whole bunch of years shitting on someone that you actually, like, probably had no right doing that for. Your sense of identity and ego shatters because you can't uphold any of the dumb shit you did in context to, like, this person. So you feel stupid. You feel like an idiot and an asshole, right? So the problem is, for some people, in fear of being an asshole for not being in line or being hypocritical with their own opinion, that, like, they instead say, like, no, like, they double down, they triple down, they quadruple down at any hint or, like, discourse that, like, they could be wrong. Because they need to uphold it. Like, you see this in many different other kinds of things, which could be true or less true or whatever. But what I'm saying is that, like, I think people, like, a lot of the reason why people do that is because, like, they can't accept what the world would look like if they, like, if their assumption was wrong. Right? Like, they can't actually walk back the opinion that they're like, actually, I appreciate that Ingrid is very duty-bound and that, like, she wants to stand for the right things. Like, they can't accept that opinion because, like, they need to protect the identity of the fandom by saying, no, we hate that person. And then if they stop having that opinion, then, like, they lose their community, and then they also lose, like, it's like, oh, what? Like, so everyone around me is an asshole and I was also an asshole? Like, that's too much for people. They can't do it. So. A circle jerk that eventually stops even reflecting reality due to the lack of outside input. Yeah, exactly. But again, that's why I like to think... That's why I like to think that when people bring things up in this chat, that, like, I try to, like listen a little bit. And I don't fully agree all the time with what people say, but, like, I like to think that despite the fact that I have my own opinions and arguably my own strong opinions on how things work, that, like, I can at least sort of adopt someone else's perspective or understand where they're coming from. Like, I'm a huge proponent for being able to do that. And interestingly, you know, what is the reverse of that? So, like, I'm saying I have an opinion and a belief. So what is the reverse of that? I am not excluding the fact that it is valuable to not adopt someone's opinion because society doesn't give you a break. So a lot of people believe that if you give someone an inch, they'll take it a mile, especially with someone's conflicting opinion. So by communicating that you understand with somebody, that means you agree with them, and then like people make huge logical leaps. So, can I blame people for being conditioned to not give people, like, to not understand other people's opinions? No, I can't. I'm not blaming people for it, because I understand the utility of why they're doing it. Right? So, it's fine. Like, the world is what it is. I just don't want to suffer, so I'm choosing to understand people instead. It's only important to carry their intention as long as the message helps you live. If caring for the dead keeps you down, then it should be discarded. That's a way of looking at it. It's a way of looking at it. I could see scenarios where, like, you're taking the intentions of the dead and it's keeping you down, but maybe it's because of, like, your interpretation, once again, of, like, maybe what they felt. But I would generally agree that, like, looking out for number one, like, looking out for yourself is probably important. Blowing smoke is what humans are all about.
Professor!
Felix is discarding it a bit too readily, and Dimitri has a hard time doing so. Yeah, exactly. So, like, there's an in-between here, right? Where it's like, you know, you don't need to run away from it, but you also don't need to be, like, you know, distraught and crazily attached to it. Too many people suffer from betrayal. Too many people suffer from protagonist syndrome, IRL, I think. Yeah, for sure. But again, like, once again, you know, why? Why? The question is always like, why? Well, probably because it's useful for some reason. The thing that makes me sad is that, like, the fact that it is useful for some reason is what makes me sad. TLDR groupthink is a bitch. So is every support conversation going to be 15 minutes of discussion? I don't think so. I think just in particularly for Dimitri's and Felix's case, that, like, that's like a core part of the theming for the story. So I wanted to talk about it again. It's like that one quote from Skyrim: "We shouldn't worship dead kings and make-believe." You could. Depends what the utility is, right? You want to take a utilitarian approach to it.
You've been spending a lot of time at the training ground, Mercedes. As far as swordsmanship goes.
Oh, I'm out of coffee.
Thank you. I have such a great time when you teach me that improving comes naturally.
It's all because of your own hard work. Compared to you,
You shouldn't be so disappointed in yourself. You're improving too. You just need to keep at it.
Well, I can hold a needle and thread without breaking anything now. That's
good. That's good, Dimitri.
That's a big step. When we started, you couldn't even hold a pair of scissors without twisting them apart.
True. I'm sorry for being such a burden.
This is cute.
You're no bother at all. I like sewing with you. It reminds me of when I was young and my mother taught me how to sew. My mother would sit with my brother and me, and we'd all sew together.
He's improving! Yeah! He's not... Stab! Break!
I really miss it. Even though I was barely better than you when I started. Did your mother like to sew, Dimitri?
My birth mother? From my father's accounts, she wasn't great at it either.
Oh, of course. I forgot that the Queen of Fargus passed away long ago.
Yes. I don't really remember what she was like. But I remember my stepmother, always sitting by the window sewing away.
I'm sure she would have been happy to teach you if you had asked.
She always looked so lonely when she was sewing. So unreachable. She was kind to me, yes, but when she was like that, it was hard to talk to her. I'm not certain she would have wished to teach me.
I'm so sorry, Dimitri. I didn't mean to bring up such difficult memories.
Don't worry about it. If I don't talk
you gotta
about
start
these things
somewhere.
Sometimes I'll risk
For
forgetting
sure.
them altogether. And that would truly be a shame.
I see.
But now I'm just going on and on about myself. Why don't you tell me more about you?
More about me? Oh, goodness. I don't even know what to say.
It's hard to think of something on the spot, isn't it? You could speak of your family, I suppose.
You want to know more about my family? On that topic, I'm happy to oblige. In fact, I'm so glad you asked.
Mercedes, I want to talk about our family that we're going to have in the future. That's the discussion that I would like to have with you. That color dress on Mercedes looks like she's showing side boob. Okay, so I see where you're coming from. I would also like to mention that, man, I saw some images of a Yay Miko cosplayer recently who, man, side boob side boob. Yay Miko is really cool. She's a cool one.
It's important to think about your past and share it every now and then. This might take a while, but would you be willing to stay and listen?
Of course. I will listen for as long as you wish.
She's a cool one. She is, in fact, a cool one.
Finally, you score a point against me on the ground. You have improved, Ingrid.
That was nothing more than a fluke. My technique was horribly sloppy that last round.
It does not matter what sort of technique it was. You won. If this had been a real battle, I would be dead. You wielded your lance well, without any hesitation. Has your approach changed?
You may recall when I said I'm now able to move on, because of you.
I remember. What did you mean by it?
What did he mean by this? What did she mean by this?
That I finally understand a truth about Glenn. It sounds as though he died with a heavy heart. A heart that carried regret. I
As most people
suspected
do.
as much. But instead of acknowledging it, I twisted my memory of him to fit an ideal I've been upholding.
I see.
Your Highness, I will not sacrifice my life for anyone. But perhaps instead, I can live my life for someone. I will pledge my life to you.
That's lewd.
And how exactly am I meant to interpret
What did she mean by this?
Your Highness.
What did
Well then,
she mean by this?
Ingrid, when this is all over, I want you to support and defend me. As my knight. I have been thinking of telling you this for a long time. We get along well, you and I.
As your knight, yes.
Yeah, as your knight. Knight. Get knight
I
zoned.
do so for the sake of the kingdom.
For the sake of the kingdom. Yeah.
Our first order of
As your knight. I'm yeah.
Yes. And while we're at it, do not die on me, Ingrid. Promise me that.
Man, sure would be a shame if Ingrid randomly died before the end of the game.
Yes, Your Highness. I swear it on my lance.
Drink something heavier than tea. That's totally what he meant. Totally. A lot of very important strategy meetings.
Your lance, are you?
Man. If only our strategy meetings were as interesting. We'll talk about spear tactics.
And what about you? Have you got something on your mind again? You really should go to bed. It is chilly out, and you could catch cold.
It's okay, we love the pining bodyguard responsible ward dynamic. Yeah, that shit's cute as fuck. Wait, sorry, I didn't actually see what she said. Up this late practicing with your lance? Oh. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was polishing my banner. Spear tactics. Yep.
What's the matter? Have you been having nightmares?
Well, in a certain sense, yes. Can you spare a moment?
Of course.
Thank you.
What's the bonk for?
want to
It's
apologize
real.
to you. When last we spoke, I mishandled the situation.
Your words that night touched me deeply. It felt as though I had been punched in the gut.
I want Flame to punch me in the gut.
But more importantly, I think I owe you an apology. I lied to you.
You did?
Do you recall when I ate that meal you cooked and I told you it was delicious?
It was actually terrible. No, you can't tell her. Oh no.
The truth is that no matter what I eat, I can scarcely taste it. I have not had my sense of taste for 9 years now.
Damn. I'd pay to see someone fire up. Oh god. I mean, there are artists. You can pay for that.
My cooking certainly is not something people often compliment me on.
I am sorry. When I said the food was good, I was just saying what I thought you would want to hear.
An apology is not necessary. You were only trying to be kind, after all.
Had my head in my hands once I thought of that one. Man, when it's actually so bad that you're like... when you're dead ass just dying.
In the end, I am not sure it was kind.
Just the same, it was nice to hear. Oh, hey! I have an idea!
Do we know what Dimitri's favorite dish is? I'm curious to know. No, I actually think he doesn't have one. I actually think... like, he literally doesn't have one, and it is probably because he does not have a sense of taste. I think that's... this is the reveal for that thing. Where he just, like, can't taste anything. He doesn't have a favorite food. I haven't experienced cuisine like yours since my last visit to Taco Bell.
What if you sampled some really pungent food? Or something extremely spicy? Maybe that would...
Flame.
Yes?
I like your cooking. I cannot taste it properly, but in my book, it is truly delicious.
That's so cute. That's so cute. That's so cute. The like... listen, I can't taste food, but like, it means a lot to me that you made something for me.
No need for the flattery. Anyhow, maybe someday you will get your taste back. I hope then you will be able to compliment me sincerely about my cooking.
Yeah, that's so cute. That's cute. That's adorable. I love that. Yeah, maybe if he had like a textural preference. Can you imagine if he's like, I like tofu. Just like raw tofu, and it's like, dude, what the fuck? The mouthfeel of raw tofu is not it, Chief.
I see. You're quite dedicated. And practicing with the sword today. You weren't any good with it when you were little, as I recall.
And who told you that?
Lord Rodrigue mentioned it to me. He said you used to swing your sword so hard that you'd break it.
I find this really funny because of his crest trigger. I think this was mentioned in a different one, but like, it's really, really funny to me that it's like his crest trigger breaks weapons, and that's like probably why he broke his weapon when he was a kid.
That was ages ago. I've had plenty of time to improve since then. Now I count swordplay as one of my specialties. Care to see for yourself?
Well, I can't just take your word for it, can I? Let's see what you've got.
Yeah, the sewing needles, that's the one that I brought it up originally. It's actually hilarious.
Well, I'm impressed. You're better than I expected.
I could say the same of you. I suppose we students still have much to learn.
No need for false modesty. We fought as equals just now. You're strong, and your form is excellent. You're clearly an experienced fighter.
It is really nice when, by the way, I feel like it's been a really long time, but like when a mentor is like, hey, like, I think you did a really good job, like, just so you're aware. Always nice.
But you're greedy.
Oh.
You can't be so impatient to win. It'll come at a grave cost.
Greedy? I see. I'll take that note to heart. You have my thanks for the instruction.
It returns. The formality, the stiffness. Anyway, after we're through here, I might head into town for some food. Care to join me?
I appreciate the invitation, but I have certain duties I must attend to this evening.
Of course you do. Never mind about my plans then.
I thought you'd say that. You have the same sense of responsibility as I do.
You think so? I didn't want to push you to join me. We can just do it another day. I'll confess, I'm taking a shine to you. I'd like to talk to you more.
I would like that as well. Ever since I saw you wielding a sword all those years ago, I've been following in your footsteps.
No, you're a lance user, Dimitri, sorry.
Cross swords is quite a...
Hey, slow down. Where did all this come from? You're embarrassing me. That's enough chatter for now anyway. Let's get back to sparring. This time with lances. I won't hold back. Show me what you can do.
Right. Prepare yourself.
Catherine's lance. Okay, so yeah, I am actually curious. So if we go to the cafeteria, is there something that Dimitri likes? Thing. Oh, there we go. Saghurt and cream, a baked confection coated with Noah fruit, cream, and a couron reduction, often enjoyed as a dessert at family gathering. So this is something that he likes, I think, right? This shows a like. Maybe he likes sweets? Would he be at the top? I think if you like something, it's at the top. Yeah, Gautier cheese gratin. Heaps of Gautier cheese. He remarks about having preferred meals as a child. I see. Okay. He likes food that, in his own words, reminds him of his child. Yeah, that's actually fair. That's an interesting way to interact with food. Because Sable brought it up, and I was like, I'm pretty sure we never find out. But yeah, it's like, for him, it's just about like reminding him of what he used to have. So that's kind of cute. Okay, so now we have Mercedes, and then we have some other ones. Okay, use the bathroom real quick, and I'll come back. We'll continue doing support. Spearbeat. Okay, I'm back. Thanks for indulging my curiosity. Yeah, I mean, I was curious too, because I realized that I said, like, I don't think we know, because I was thinking about the, like, all of the story events would suggest that, like, he doesn't have one, but there's a possibility for us to know it through the cafeteria system. Early century cheesecake used to be made with actual cheese. If you count cream cheeses as cheese, modern cheesecakes are still made with cheese. That's fair. That's interesting. What would a traditional cheesecake be made of? Like, how would you do that? That sounds very interesting. I'd have to, like, ask someone about that. You know it's a good support when the first two lines are just ellipses. That's so funny. A support, by the way. That's so funny.
Do you need something? Let's hear.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Oh,
okay.
No, I don't need anything. I was just hoping to talk to you, Felix.
When I said you could be near me, I meant on the battlefield. You're pushing it a little too far. You better not start calling me Emil.
You know, I'm not just using you as a stand-in for my brother. I don't mean to upset you. But I've come to realize that you two don't have that much in common after all.
I don't understand. Why are you hanging around me if not to replace your brother?
It's not that I want to be near Emil, but I want to be near you.
What?
How embarrassing. It must sound like I'm coming on to you.
I mean, but is you though? Like, just wondering. Yeah, a meal, like a singular meal.
Regardless, you've made it clear that you don't want me around.
No, it's not that.
Good. Then I'll continue to spend time at your side.
This is so cute. God damn it. How dare you be this cute? You're not allowed that. You're not allowed to be this cute. Stop it. Wait, it's not like I like want you to go away or anything. And then she's like, okay, then I'll stay here. Like, cute. That's cute. Okay. Cheesecake may date back to the 5th century, according to Wikipedia. The Greeks made a confection of layered dough, honey, and soft cheese. Oh, that's so interesting. Interesting.
What a perplexing creature.
Creature.
What's that? Did you say something? Never mind that. Why don't we go out for a nice cup of tea?
I can't think of a reason to refuse your invitation, so I suppose I have to accept.
That was cute.
Annie, do you have a moment?
Is this about what happened when we were shopping? If so, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Not so fast. I haven't properly apologized yet. So, I'm sorry. I got scared. Imagine if something bad happened to you because of me.
Mercy.
You would have just run away if you were on your own, wouldn't you? Instead, you acted defensively because I was there. I dragged you down.
Mercy, you're upsetting me. How dare you say that you dragged me down? You know why I was acting so recklessly? Because I wanted to protect my best friend in the whole world.
Annie.
Do you remember when we first enrolled at the academy? It seemed like everyone was leagues ahead of us and so far out of reach.
Yeah, so, you know, because I can only assume that this support conversation is going to take a little bit longer. That's really freaking cool that cheesecake was made with, like, soft cheeses and stuff. I would be interested in seeing what, like a, you know, layered dough, honey, soft cheese cheesecake, you know, looks like, because that sounds dope. Felix doesn't understand why anyone would want to be near him. He's just like me, for real, for real. So yeah, the yeah, that's cool as hell. That sounds like, man, I want to have like a traditional, like old cheesecake. I imagine somewhere between a lasagna and a baklava. Yeah.
I felt completely hopeless. But because you were there, I didn't lose hope. So, don't say stupid things about how you drag me down or how you don't deserve things.
Thank you for saying that. And again, I'm sorry. You're just so important to me. I know I could never find another friend like you. You've stayed by my side through thick and thin. I wouldn't be able to forgive myself if anything happened to you because of me.
Mercy, can we be friends again?
Of course, Annie. Friends forever.
Yeah, friends. Platonic friends forever. Through thick and thin, platonically.
Good. I don't know what I would have done if we hadn't found a way to make up.
Actually, though, their very platonic friendship is very cute.
I'm sorry. I should have said something sooner.
No, I'm the one who should have stopped being so stubborn and said something. You know, now that everything's as it should be, I'm suddenly starving.
That's just like you. Come, let's go for tea.
Ooh, let's! And we should have some Mercy-baked sweets on the side. I think I love you more than just about anything in the world.
You do? Oh, Annie, you're too sweet.
Not as sweet as your baking. I love your baking more than anything in the world, too.
Okay, alright. Okay, like, let's calm down here.
I'm always happy to bake for you.
Mm-hmm, yeah, okay.
I'm so happy to have you bake, back.
That's funny. Okay. You talked about trying to replicate the Undertale snail pie by making a meat pie or quiche with escargot. That's kind of interesting. I don't think I would ever be able to eat escargot. I feel like I just... There are some things that my brain can't get over as being, like, too gross. I will say, though, actually, I wasn't huge on sushi. Was not a fan of sushi, but the last number of times I've gone to sushi, I have ordered, like, actual sashimi. And it's not bad. It's, like, okay. I think that's my opinion generally every time. Like, I'll get, like, some salmon, and then... It's, like, fine. Texture's a little weird. The fishiness is a little strong. So... Fish makes me feel sick, and I don't know why. That's too bad. I don't know. Maybe it's like an allergy or something. I have never tried alligator meat, so I have no idea.
My head is pounding. You'd think I'd get used to this. Oh.
Manuela? Oh my goodness, you look terrible. Don't get up, I'll get you some water. I should fluff up those pillows for you. It will make you more comfortable.
I'm completely hopeless. I was so proud of being the reason you came to Garreg Mach. Dorothea wanted to follow in my footsteps. How great is that? I thought I'd use that as an inspiration to straighten myself out. Be less of a, you know, less of a disgrace. But here I am, right in front of you, dealing with the worst hangover I've had in
Damn.
years.
You thought you'd hide this from me?
Wait, you mean you knew?
Even when you were still with the opera company, you had quite the reputation. There was a joke that you could outdrink a fish and the sailor who caught it.
Yo, that's...
As it is, please, stop.
That's fucking awesome. That is the craziest way to say that. That's fucking awesome. Also, welcome, Jordan. Thank you for this. Thank thank you for the sub. That is the most insane reputation to have. You can outdrink a fish. That's sick. And the sailor who caught it. If you've ever had calamari, escargot is a similar texture. They're great in garlic butter. Oh, really? Yeah, I do actually like calamari. I do. I'm a big fan of tentacles, you could say. Welcome, Rue. I came on the moment of MILF Emblem. Yes, exactly. At Snails in France. Yeah, I've never been to France.
It's all true, but I can't handle hearing it from you, the girl I thought I had inspired to greatness.
Hag Emblem. We love hags here. The age of 30 is in demand. In what way do I like tentacles? I don't have to comment on that. I think you understand. I think you understand exactly what I'm saying. And it's that deep-fried calamari. Deep-fried calamari slaps. Be nice? Well, I mean, listen. It depends. Obviously, you wouldn't want to walk up to someone and be like, hey, you're a hag. It doesn't... That is probably not the best way to approach a normal human being. However, I think it is commonly... Generally, the people who claim that on the internet are saying it because they want older women. To be frank. Wouldn't make much sense for us to be here if we didn't like eggs. Man, I remember when I said, like, oh, if Flaris was, like, 23, like, they're not that old. And then I was immediately hit with, like, Flaris is 23, old hag, like, hag energy, wow, you're so old. And then I was just crying to myself, like, 23 is old? What does that make me? A fucking decrepit fossil? Like, am I just fucking, like... Am I just old, dude? God, I'm actually, like, just disappearing into ash. Every time I go live, I'm just, like, disappearing.
I can't believe I tried so hard to be a good example for you when you knew all along. I should leap into the ocean and drown.
Oh, Minuela. Oh. Damn, turns 32 joint. Damn. I mean, yeah. Cool. Congratulations. I have no commentary about turning into ash or dust. Except that it's happening to me and I don't like it.
Don't say that. You've not lost a bit of respect from me. Not one bit. Everyone has their faults, and some have more than others, but you are the finest songstress the opera had ever seen. And you've taught me well. What I mean to say is, you're my inspiration. I really do admire you.
Thank you, Dorothea. That means a lot.
For what it's worth, I consider 60 to be the threshold for counting as old. Yeah, I would say that I'm pretty similar. Like, I would say that is discernibly actually quite old at that point. Oh, excuse me. Oh, can I not do this anymore? Damn, that's too bad.
Ah, there's yet another option.
Lawrence, what are you doing?
Oh, hello, Hilda. I'm using these pieces to represent soldiers on the battlefield. This will allow me to better visualize concepts of strategy.
Sorry, I just see Lorenz doing this and then think like he just has like little army men like on on like a piece of lined paper like, ah yes, I am doing tactics.
Very good. Is it fun?
Oh wow, like so impressive that you're practicing tactics, Lorenz. Like that's exactly what I think.
Oh, it is utterly engrossing. Look, swap out just certain pieces for others, and the board completely changes. Then, even considering the same types of units, employing different individuals calls for a new set of plans.
Oh, I see. Or I kinda see. It's hard for me to grasp really complex things like this.
Nonsense. It's thanks to your many requests that I've been adapting my fighting style of late. Working to accommodate you has convincingly shown me how essential it is to rethink tactics on a continual basis. After all, the risk of getting hurt is greatly reduced if you are prepared for any situation.
That is hilarious, Sable. If you just like you have like a little cupcake somewhere, Hilda like walks in and eats it. Like there's a little chip there. Eat that one. Lorenz looks like Squidward. I can see how he gives off Squidward energy. All you do is reposition. Yeah. Translated, you're a pain to work with.
So now I will be ready for anything.
Lawrence, you're so wonderful, I'm at a loss for words. I'm not just saying that to flatter you either, honestly.
Sorry, that like pause was like really funny to me.
Tell me something, Hilda. Did you make all of these ludicrous requests of me purely so that I might have the opportunity to develop myself? Because if so, I am deeply moved. Thank you for caring so thoughtfully and passionately for my personal growth.
You're welcome.
If you
Hilda
would
is
permit me to
lying.
return the favor, I do have one request to make of you. Will you hear me out?
You know what he just realized is that Lorenz's nose kind of looks like one of those ramps that you would go off of in like a Sonic game. Like it looks like it's got that angle where you would like run up it and then like do a backflip off of it.
I'm not usually one for fielding requests, but I can make an exception in your case, I suppose.
I would be so pleased to have the opportunity to observe you in action, in the heat of battle. Would you be so kind as to oblige me?
Oh, very well. You've convinced me. But if it gets too intense, you'll help me out, right?
Lorenz is very easy to manipulate. Yeah, kind of. Skateboard ramp looking ass. Exactly. Lysithia and Catherine? Oh, this is interesting.
Lysithia, do you have a moment?
I do. What do you need to speak with me about?
I was thinking about the time we talked about our crests bringing bad weather.
Yes. We never did get to test that theory, since I haven't found any sun-bringing folks.
Joking aside, each crest is unique in how it impacts the bearer's life. I've seen more than my share of crest bearers, after all. Some of them bore crests of Karen like us, some even bore crests of Gloucester.
Certainly, but I don't see your point.
I'm not a crest scholar. I don't know all the details. I have a knack for guessing a person's crest just by looking at them. Forgive me, but do you have 2 crests?
Well?
You don't have to tell me. I mean, it shouldn't even be possible to bear 2 crests. So if you do have 2, you must be sitting on some major secrets.
It's nice to know that someone understands.
That is cute. Wow. That's so cute. Catherine just being like, listen, I know this sounds weird, but also this is a theoretical, but also I understand if that's the case, that's kind of like sharp inhale, so like, damn. That's cute.
Of course. Everyone has things they would rather not talk about. For all you know, Catherine's not my real name. Maybe I'm an outlaw on the run from my homeland.
That can't be true, can it? Stop messing with me.
Lightning Strike Cassandra. Or whatever it's called.
I was kidding. Though, who knows? Maybe there is some truth in it. My point is, no matter what secrets we're keeping, I'm still me, and you're still you. I do worry a little about you. You never seem to let your guard down around other people. That can't be easy. You know, it's important for you to relax once in a while.
I don't even know the meaning of the word.
That's easy. Just gab with your friends about something pointless, and the stress will fade away.
This is so cute, dude. Damn. Damn, man. Catherine being the best, like, actually.
I'm always happy to chat, if you're interested.
Oh.
Well, thank you. Why are you being so kind to me anyway?
I just feel a certain kinship with you. We both have crests of Karen, and we both have secrets we can't share with anyone.
I see. I will say I'm happy to have someone around who actually seems to understand me.
Good. You can feel comfortable with me. Since we have the same crest, we're basically sisters.
Aw, I really like that. Someone as wonderful as you is my big sister?
Well, don't you just say the cutest things. That's my little sister for you.
That was so cute. Bro, what the hell? That was so wholesome. That was so wholesome, dude. What the hell? I was not expecting that. Though to be fair, like their first one was just like, we have crests and it brings rain. That's wild. But wow, that was damn. I appreciate that a lot because, like, again, for some of the other people, like, their support, like, they need to go through a few, like, steps and hoops to, like, feel like they understand this person, I suppose. Like, that's how it's written. But for Catherine, she's just like, nah, I get it. You're cool. Like, it's good. It's fine. I get you. Also, like, don't worry about it. Like, it's cool. It's like, ugh, that's so wholesome. So fucking wholesome. Damn. Okay. So, it has been 2 hours and 50 minutes. We're not doing the battle today. We're gonna do it tomorrow. Let's just clean up the monastery actions, I suppose.
I'm actually getting a little nervous. Please defeat the Emperor and save Lady Rhea.
Yeah, we're gonna try our
I'll
best,
be
but...
waiting here with all of the necessary preparations for a huge celebration.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah. Pure yap stream? Yeah, this was literally just a yapping stream. No gameplay to be seen. Which is fine, because tomorrow we have gameplay. I think over the course of 2 streams, at least having some gameplay, that makes sense. So, yeah. The yap is good. Yeah, I think the yap is good too. I like yapping. It's fun. Okay, so... I don't think I need to do the monastery actions on stream, and I think this is like a good point to stop it. So I'm just gonna say tomorrow we'll do the battle. Big story event battle tomorrow. Same time, same starting time. That is... Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so sorry. Man, it's like one of those radio shows. It's like, you're tuning into... Flares Radio. Elephant sound. Yeah, so that's gonna be it. So what I'm gonna say is, if you're still here, I'm gonna say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your support as always, and I will see you next time. Bye, 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 everybody. Bye.